Everybody massively overcomplicates building and scaling an AI agency. And so I'm going to show you exactly how I've scaled not only one agency, but two agencies past the 10K a month mark in less than 30 days, and how I've helped countless people do the exact same thing, scaling to 10K, 20K, 50K a month with their AI agencies. And just so you know I'm not full of shit, I'll show you. This was the first agency we ever started. And so as you can see here, we collected over $31,000 in the first 3 weeks of starting this, from January 1st to January 21st. You can see here, or January 20th, we collected $31,000 in the first month. And with this agency all time, we've collected a little over $600,000. And then just about a month and a half ago, we started a brand new agency just to show that it's not luck, it's all systems to make money and get to that 10, 20, 30K a month mark. And in the first 30 days, from July 1st to July 31st, we scaled to 14K a month in monthly recurring revenue. And so it is simple as that. I'm going to show you exactly how we did all this from start to finish so that you have the exact idea, the blueprint that you can follow. So let's get right into this. So there's a few things that we're going to be going over in this video because there's a lot of stuff that you want to keep in mind, but it's much more simple than people think. And so the first thing is identifying a business's needs. What does this business actually need to succeed? Because you want to provide something that can do that for them. You're going to select a profitable niche because you don't want to be selling to a niche of businesses that aren't making any money because that's just redundant. You want to be targeting the rich businesses, right? Because they can pay rich prices. Then you want to develop an AI offer, more specifically just an offer that provides value that leverages AI to make your life easier and get your clients better results. Outreach to businesses, whether that's ads, cold outreach, whatever it may be, content, to get those leads and close them, which is the next thing here, close deals, and then deliver the AI solutions. We're going to be covering all that in this video here. So first things first, what are we going to be servicing to these businesses? What are we going to be providing? Because that's the most important thing, right? What offer will these guys actually pay 2K, 5K, 10K up front for, or 2K, 5K, 10K a month for? And so there's a few main aspects that businesses are most likely to pay for, right? Because you might see so many people everywhere talking about like N8N automations. Oh, an agent that responds to your emails, all these types of things. Like, go sell us your business for 5K. Like, sure, there might be some out there, but it's going to be difficult to sell that because it doesn't directly correlate to more revenue for the business. Whereas these three aspects right here, lead generation, appointments, and sales, they directly correlate to more revenue, right? If you have more leads, you're going to close more people. If you have more appointments, you're going to close more deals. If you improve sales, you're closing more deals, and all these lead to more money, right? So we want to be solving at least one of these three problems, or multiple, right? And so for the offer that we do for our new agency, we solve lead generation and appointments for the business, and then they handle the sales side. And so that's why we're able to charge 2 to 5K a month for the offer. And that's why it was very easy for us to scale it up to past 10K a month in the first 30 days. And so the lead gen side of things, what are we offering to these businesses? We are generating leads for them. We are running their ads. We're running Google and Meta ads for these businesses to generate the leads. And if you want me to make a separate video showing exactly how we set up Facebook campaigns and Google campaigns, I'll do that. Just comment below and I'll do that. And then not only that, because leads are cool, but it's a very commoditized thing, right? You're just handing over leads to the business. And the reason we close a lot of these guys is because not only do we handle the lead gen, but we also handle the appointments. We're scheduling the inspections for these home service companies. And so what we're doing is we're generating the leads from the ads, and we're using AI to book the estimates, aka the appointments, for the business. That way we're handling these two sections for them, and all they have to worry about is the sales. And if your close rate for most of these businesses is about 40, 50%. And so if we're getting them leads and booking them appointments more so than they were before, they're closing, a lot of extra deals, right? If they're doing 10 jobs per month, but now we're getting them an extra 10 appointments and they close 50%, that's an extra 5 jobs, right? Just simple, just for numbers' sake there. We get them leads and appointments, which directly correlates to more revenue for the business. Now, number 2 is selecting a profitable niche, all right? So what niche do we want to pick? And so I'll tell you, home service is the best. It's the best, right? Because the niches we're going after inside of home service, for example, roofers, right? Jobs are usually going to be 10 to 30K per job for roofing, right? And so for us, the average job price for the businesses that we work with is 10K, and they profit about half of that. So they're profiting about 5K per job. So even if we get them 2 jobs per month, which is very low and very easy to do, they're making an extra 10 grand profit per month. And then after our fees, they're probably profiting about half of that, right? And so if you get them 5 jobs per month, they're making about 25K profit, right? And so we usually get them about 10 jobs per month. So they're making about 50K profit, which is why it's no problem for us to charge 2 to 5K per month. Inside of here, roofers, HVAC. HVAC's honestly probably the worst out of these because HVAC's pretty low ticket. Pool openers, plumbers, electricians, construction. Out of these, I think roofers is amazing. Remodelers is amazing. Home renovation, roofers, like I said, landscapers, the hardscaping jobs, pool installation, those types are high ticket, right? They're 5 to like 50 grand per job. So if you're getting those jobs, it's amazing. Lawyers, accountants, dentists, doctors, real estate agents, these ones are good as well. I actually just had an accountant book a call with us just from one of our YouTube videos. An accountant booked a call with us and they just wanted us to build a simple AI agent for them. So it was very easy. I priced it at $2K and $500 a month. It'll probably take us a couple hours to build and it will book the appointments for them. That's an example, right? But it's difficult to target these guys. Overall, the accountants, the reason that they were interested was because they sell high ticket services, relocating businesses to Dubai. And so that's why the 2K and 500 a month was nothing for them. You can also go after info products, coaches, consultants, e-commerce, SaaS, marketing agencies. They're all appointment and lead reliant, right? And so if you can automate that process for them or help them with that process, they will pay you. And so that's another example of the profitable niches to go after. I think home services by far the best, easiest to scale, easiest to get good results for, and they're also very enjoyable to work with, in my opinion, for the most part. Probably 95% of the ones we work with are very enjoyable to work with. And so the other thing now is developing the AI offer itself. So we know what business needs, what they need, right? The leads, appointments, and sales. We know the niches that are best to go after, ideally home service, but also info products and professional services, etc. Now we need to develop a specific AI solution for these guys, right? And so what are we going to do for that? There's a few things here, right? And so the best way to go about this is you don't just want to be selling one-off AI solutions like you see everywhere. You probably see, at least all over social media, I see people, hey, sell this N8N agent, sell this N8N template that automates your emails, sell this N8N agent, all this type of crap that is just an N8N template. It's a one-off thing. People, okay, you can sell some one-off tools. And the first agency we ran was a lot of that because it was a lot hotter and newer. Now it's super commoditized selling that type of service. And so you need to be selling an outcome. For us, to these home service businesses, we're selling them anywhere from 10 to 50 booked estimates per month guaranteed. But we're using AI to make our life so much easier. So when we set up the ads for these guys, sure, the ads is a manual process, but we have a media buyer now who takes care of that. And they set up the ads and then the leads start generating. And then we have the AI automate that booking process. So usually it would be a call center or you'd have to hire a bunch of setters to do that manually, right? And it's a headache to manage, train these guys, make sure they're hitting quotas. We use the AI and it's very, very easy to have the AI fulfilling that, booking these leads, qualifying them, texting them, calling them, and scheduling them in. And so that's why we're technically running a traditional SMMA, right? But we're using AI to make our life 10 times easier. And so that's why it's so main. And so you can sell those one-off solutions, but it's much, much better to, instead of just trying to pitch these one-off solutions, you're selling the outcome and then you're using AI to make your life easier. And if you do want to sell these one-off solutions, have them as upsells. And so certain things like, maybe a SMS agent or a phone call agent or, AI SEO tools or whatever, you can have those as an extra after you close the client when you're onboarding them, mention, hey, if you want this AI phone agent, for example, it's $500 a month and we'll build it out for you and you'll have that forever. Those little types of things, because if they say no, who cares? You're in the exact same spot. They're already closed to your client. If they say yes, awesome. You had an extra $500 per month. And if they stay around for a year, it's an extra 6K in lifetime value. So amazing. But the main thing is you want to make sure that you are providing a tangible outcome. Because if you just get somebody like an email agent, for example, or a phone agent, okay, it provides value, but it's very difficult to put a specific tangible outcome on it. Whereas when you're selling 50 booked estimates per month, it's like, okay, it's 50 booked estimates per month. If we close half of them, that's 25 jobs. It's very easy for the business to understand. Okay, it's 50 estimates per month for this price, guaranteed. Okay, very easy to understand, very easy to sell because it's more revenue for the business. They can comprehend it a lot easier than, okay, I can use this agent to kind of automate my emails, but it doesn't really, it saves me time. It doesn't really lead to more money. Do I want to pay $5,000 for that? Maybe not, right? And so have those as upsells if you'd like, but focus on the outcome. Lead gen, booking appointments, getting them sales. That's the main thing. And your offer ideally wants to encompass as much of that as possible. That's how you make it as appealing as possible to the business. And that's how it's going to be very easy to sell. Now we know how to identify the business needs, selecting the profitable niche, developing the AI offer. So how do we outreach to these businesses, right? So let's go over that here. When we're outreaching to these businesses, right, there's a few main ways to go about it. Number one, paid ads are going to be your best friend. But if you don't have any money, you're going to be in a tough spot. There's a couple ways you can go about this, right? I would recommend if you have no money, and you're looking at a certain agency, you're probably going to want to be working a full-time job, at least a part-time job to bring through some cash, because you need to have $1,000, $2,000 for ads. And you got to kind of expect that first $1 to $2,000 to be kind of experimental budget, especially if it's in a niche you've never been in. And if you've never run ads, it's probably going to be even, if you're working with somebody like us, for example, we can make sure that with $1,000 to $2,000, you are closing your first client. And so if you do want to work with us, click the link below, book a call. will help you scale. But nonetheless, paid ads, it's going to be your best friend. It's very, very scalable. If you can put $1 in and get $5 out consistently, it doesn't matter if you're putting $10 in or $1,000 in or $10,000 in. If you can consistently get $5 out, it's very easy to scale, very easy to forecast and predict what you're going to get when you make changes to it. But if you have no money, you're going to need to work a job and you're going to need to do cold outreach. I'm not going to speak too much on cold outreach in this video because I'm assuming most of you guys that are starting an AI agency and looking to scale, you're kind of past that point where you don't need, if you're at the 5K month mark, at least you should be running ads. The cold outreach is going to just be so slow to scale. And so the paid ad side of things, we use Facebook ads, purely Facebook ads. And so I'll actually show you what some of our ads look like because again, we're using AI to build our ads. We're using AI to write our copy. We're using AI to write our headlines. We are using AI for everything. And then we're just building the campaigns, sending them to a very simple funnel, which I'll show you here. So I'm going to show you what the ads look like firstly here, the creatives themselves. Okay. So if you see here, this is an example of one of the ad creators we're running. We're running a bunch of different variations of this, but take a look at this.
Waterproofing companies, we will get you 50 estimates per month guaranteed or you don't pay. Click learn more to see how.
Pretty cool, right? Like it stands out, catches your attention. Very, it's completely made with VO3 AI. Stands out a ton, getting about $22 Canadian leads. So for you Americans, it's about $16 American per lead. Very good spot, good at cost per acquisition, super solid. And I'll show you some other ones here that we're using because we're experimenting with a lot of different formats here. This one right here. So I love this one. Okay, so take a look at this one here. These ones are pretty unique and they're actually doing very well.
Foundation and waterproofing companies, we will get you 50 estimates per month guaranteed or you don't pay. Click learn more below to book a call so we can show you how.
It's a Lego ad. It's a Lego creative. And so it stands out pretty damn good. And so that we're running a bunch of different variations of it, but that stands out super well. And it's getting pretty good results. As you can see, about $20 leads here across the board, $22 to $24 leads here. We just launched some new ones to test out other variations, but overall it's doing super good. And so those are examples of the ads. And now we're sending them to a funnel. So I'm going to show you what that funnel looks like so you can actually see. It's very simple, nothing too crazy, and it converts super well. So this is it. Simple as this. They fill out the lead form, name, email, phone number, confirming yes or no that they are the type of business that we're going after. And then they go to this page here. Very simple. They book a call. That's it. That's the whole funnel. Very simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Just get calls booked, get leads coming through. That's it. Simple funnel, target the leads. And then you can use smart retargeting for testimonials and case studies once you have them. But until you do, there's no reason to worry about it. And then you optimize and scale. We're now at the point where we're spending about $250 a day on this agency. We started out at 100. We had about $1,000 for the challenge, right? We're like, okay, we're only gonna have $1,000 to start. We spent $1,000 on ads, close the first client. Then we increase it to 150 and close another one. Then 200, then close another one. Then close another one, and then we scaled it to 250. And now we're sitting at about 250 per day, so about 7,500 a month. And we have about a 3.5x ROAS right now. So we put $1 in, we get about $3.50 out. We spent about 11 grand on ads and close about 38K in clients. And so that's a beautiful thing. If we keep that going, it's essentially infinitely scalable, right? There will be diminishing returns eventually, but that's essentially infinitely scalable, right? Because sure, 3.6x ROAS, we've had campaigns that have done much better, but we put 10 grand in and we get 36K out. Okay, great. We put 100 grand in, we get 360K out. We put a million and we get 3.6 mil out, right? And so at scale, it's very good. Of course, there will be diminishing returns at one point, but it does do very well if you can maintain that return on ad spend. And so now, how do we close these deals, right? So you have the niche, you have the offer, you know what the agency's needs, you've catered to that, you're getting leads coming through now, you're getting appointments booked. How do you actually close these deals? So when it comes to closing these deals, there's a few main things, right? And so I'll tell you, usually you're going to do Zoom calls, right? But for the home service companies that we're targeting, it's all over the phone. They book a phone call, and I've been taking those calls. I close them over the phone. We get them to pay. And so there's a few main ways to do that because it's difficult, right? When you don't see them face to face, you're not, going through this whole sales process. It's just a phone call, right? So you need to build trust as quick as you can. You need to be speaking with absolute confidence and just exude authority and credibility on those calls. Because if you don't, they're gonna body you, and you're not gonna be able to close these guys, and they're gonna tell you're full of shit. Because have we ever worked with these types of home service companies? Never. And we haven't run this type of offer in a long time. And so when I first started speaking to these guys, I just had to talk with confidence, knowing that, okay, we're not 100% sure how we're going to fulfill for these guys specifically, but the first client will figure it out. And we did exactly that. Spoke with confidence, closed the first 3 clients in like a week period, and then we ended up getting them estimates and getting them profit and making them money and getting them good results so that they stick around. And so you need to be speaking with absolute confidence, know exactly what your process is going to look like. Because if you can lay out, this is what it's going to look like, we're going to do this, it shows that you actually know what you're talking about, even if you haven't done it yet for this specific type of business. And you need to be going deep into discovery, getting to know about their situation, getting to know what their goal is. Why did they even book this call? The main reason that got them to book this call in the first place, where they're looking to get, and how you can bridge the gap to get there. You want to be congruent with your offer that you had in the messaging that you had in your ad. If you're guaranteeing 50 estimates per month, tell them how you're going to get them 50 tell them how you're going to get 50 estimates per month. And you're confident about it and you know exactly what the process is going to look like, they're going to say, okay, this dude knows what he's doing. I spoke to some other agencies and they sounded like they didn't really know what they're doing. This guy does sound like, and I have a lot of guys on these phone calls telling me, oh, wow, yeah, I can tell that the guy we just closed, there's a guy we just closed today or yesterday, and he said on the call, he was like, I've spoken to a lot of agencies and I can tell you know what you're doing. And then he closed. Very, very simple, because I talk with confidence and I'm prepared on the sales calls. And then you need to prove value and ROI. When I go through the pitch, right? So I do the whole discovery, right? I'm getting to know about the business. What are they looking to do? But when I'm transitioning to the actual pitch of what we do, I very briefly lay out what we're actually going to do. These guys don't really care. Are we using AI? Are we, I tell them we're going to run their ads and book them leads and book them estimates. And so they don't really care how we do it, right? They don't care too much what's under the hood. They don't really care about the whole process. They just care what the results. A lot of these guys will say, I don't give a shit if you use AI. I don't give a crap if you use humans. If you get me this result, I'll be happy. And that's amazing, right? And so you got to provide value. And so what I do is I'm able to show them a very tangible outcome to expect, because if they tell me, okay, we're getting them 20 estimates, let's say, and then they close 50%. They say their close rate's 50%. That means 10 jobs. Their average price per job is 10K. Their average profit is 5K. That means they're going to be getting 100K top line revenue, about 50K profit. Boom. I lay all that out for them on the call. This is what to expect. For us to get that for you, our service fee is 2K per month. There's going to be 3K per month in ad spend. That's 5K. So after those costs, you'll be expected to be sitting around 45K profit after all costs are said and done. And so I lay that out for them. They know exactly what to expect. It's a very tangible, clear outcome in their mind. And the cost that we told them, 2K a month, 3K a month in ad spend, is very small compared to that outcome, right? Because we're getting them about 10 times that in terms of profit. And so that's why it's so important. And you want to make the decision very, very easy for them with urgency. Just easy options, very easy. I lay out, okay, so to get started, we complete the investment and I send you over the agreement. And then after those are completed, you'll get a quick form sent over, the onboarding process. It's a very basic form to get general business information. When you submit that, you'll be redirected to book a quick onboarding call with us, where we'll get the ad account set up, we'll get you set up in Slack, everything like that. Then we'll start the build process, which takes about a week. Then we'll launch the ads and leads will start flowing through shortly after. Credit card, Visa, Amex, MasterCard, I'll send you the payment link, or I'll take your credit card info over the phone. And so very, very easy to close those guys when you go through that whole process, when you're exuding confidence, you show authority, and you're proving value and showing a very clear ROI for it. We have all that in place, right? We know how to identify what the business needs, select a profitable niche, develop the AI offer, outreach to businesses, close the deals. How do we actually deliver this? So there's a few ways that you can go about delivering this, right? So there's a couple things. In the beginning, it's mostly going to be learn and do it yourself, right? That's just going to be the way it goes. So you're going to have to figure it out on your own, which is the way it goes usually up until 10 to 15K a month, right? You're usually probably going to be doing it yourself. And so that's the way it goes. So the benefits is you have control over everything, right? You'll have higher margins because you're not paying anybody to do it, but it'll most likely be slower execution and a steep learning curve to get to know everything in the process, understand it and whatnot. But it's kind of an inevitable period where you have to do it yourself, so that when you do hire on somebody, you can show them exactly how you did it. You can build SOPs and everything and make it very easy. And so what we did is, for the fulfillment, we've built out SOPs for everything. So that way, when we have our media buyer here now, and we bring on more people, client success manager, et cetera, we have everything laid out on exactly how they go through the onboarding and fulfillment process. And then you can also hire freelancers. This might be people on Fiverr. This might be, people you find on Instagram or whatever. Sometimes we'll make a quick story post and see if anybody qualifies for that position. We'll interview them quick and have them do the work. That's a freelancer, and they're cost effective and flexible work, but it's usually time consuming managing them for the most part, especially if you're kind of getting cheap freelancers and they don't care too much, right? They usually don't care too much, especially if you're getting them on Fiverr, Upwork, they're in India or Pakistan or something. They usually don't care too much about the result. They got paid and they're going to do the work, and they might be tough to communicate with, etc. The other option is you use an agency. You can use an agency like us, for example. We do fulfillment for our clients. And like I said, you can book a call with us if you're interested in that, but you can use an agency. We have our engineers do fulfillment for our clients, build the entire AI systems for them. It's very easy, very scalable. And the only downside is you have to pay, right? And so other than that, it's very easy, very scalable, because we know how to do it. We use all the systems that we use ourselves to scale. And it's very reliable. You don't really need to do anything, and our team handles it all. The other option, which isn't here, but is to just hire your own engineer, build your own team in-house and have them on your payroll and how to give them a salary, etc. And they'll usually be pretty reliable because they're on your team, right? And as long as you hired somebody good and you vetted them, you interviewed them, they've qualified, it'll usually be a pretty reliable person and overall be very good for your fulfillment. So overall, you're going to go through your first fulfillment with a client and realize, okay, this needs to be optimized, this needs to be changed, we need to get this info. And then the next client, you'll have that in place. Then maybe you realize, okay, this is another thing we need to optimize. And then by the third, fourth, fifth client, they'll probably have it all ironed out. Like for us, the first client, we realized, okay, this was a good onboarding, but there's a couple more things we can get from them initially. And we did that for the second client. We was, okay, there's a couple more things we can change. And then by the third client, we had it fully refined, very, very smooth onboarding process, and we get everything. This is, in a nutshell, a quick overview of everything we did to scale these 2 agencies. And so now you know how to identify the business needs, you know how to select a profitable niche, how to develop an AI offer, how to outreach to businesses, how to close deals, and how to deliver the AI solutions. And so it's not too difficult. Now you have to go out there and put this into practice, right? Watching this video alone doesn't do fucking anything for you. It just gives you information. Now you need to use this information and leverage it. So I'm going to put a link below to join our free school community. It's completely free. A lot of videos in there. There's tons and tons of hours of content that show you everything from building the funnels, setting up the ads, everything way more in depth. Go in there. If you're serious about it, click that link below. You'll see it in this description and consume all the content and you will get good results. Take action on this. Put it into practice. And if you want to work with us directly, click the link below and we'll help you scale without a doubt. So I'll see you in the next one.